Hey, what's going on, y'all? So I want to kind of make another video with regards to wheel offset. So I recently uploaded a video explaining, like what offset is, how to find it on a wheel, but I didn't explain how offset affects fitment. So I have this wheel that's a 18 by 9.5 plus 12. And on the other side, I have another wheel that's also a 18 by 9.5, but this one is a plus 30. So from plus 30 to plus 12, that's an offset difference of, 18? Yeah. Right? So as you can see, if I'm looking at it like this, there's poke, right? This is the plus 12. Now from here, you can kind of see this is kind of like flush slash slightly sunken in, right? So, like I said, the offset difference is 18 millimeters, right? So meaning that this face, because of the mounting hub, the mounting portion, that is 18 millimeters further inside that way. So that's why this set looks more sunken in. And this one is 18 millimeters more this way, towards the outside, right? Towards the fender, as they say. So you can kind of say like, we tried to measure it. This is gonna be really hard. Depending if, like, how you look at it, let's say something like that, right? That's like, yeah. That's really tough. That's really tough. Yeah. All right, but I mean, you get the general idea of how offset kind of works. So, the lower the number, the more the wheel pushes outward. That's why, despite having the same width, a lower offset is going to be a more aggressive wheel. In the same instance, so this is a 10.5 plus 22, right? So you can have wheels that are different widths and different offsets, but have the same fitment. And it's like, why is that? So I kind of wish I had wrote down some of the math, but the reason why a wider wheel can have the same fitment, as in like where it ends at the fender, or maybe even less, is because a wheel can be an inch wider, right? 25.4 millimeters, but that width is divided in half, because that width has to go, partially towards the suspension, but at the same time partially towards the outside. And then after you take into the account the width, you have to factor in the offset. So, so half of 25.4 is like 12.7. And then you take the offset difference. So you would subtract, your old offset to the new offset, and whatever your difference is, subtract that from, 12.7 at the fender. Then you know how far in or out your fitment will be. So what I'm gonna do is, you kind of see where this one ends, right? And again, this is a 10.5 plus 22. I'm gonna swap the 9.5 plus 12, and the difference between these two, it's gonna be about like 2-point-something millimeters. We'll round up to 3 millimeter difference. So when you look at it, it actually kind of looks the same. It's got the same amount of poke, right? So let me go ahead and do that. Just kind of remember how much this is. I mean, I can try to, do this again. Not sure if it works or not. Say, I don't know, best case scenario, say if I'm actually looking at it correctly, that's like 20 millimeters or something like that, right? So let's see how that works with the measurement. But again, this is how it looks. So let me switch that over. All right, so got the wheel swap back on. So you can kind of see from here that, you know, it's a 9.5 width, which is an inch smaller, but because of the offset, it's got that same amount of poke, right? So this would be a little more specific, but like that's why on the G37 sedans, I normally don't recommend, you know, the teens offset for a 9.5 because of this amount of poke, right? So this wheel has a tire that's actually a little fat. I mean, it's the proper size tire, but it kind of, the rim protector comes out enough that it you know, goes over the wheel like it's supposed to. So that it's about like 2 to 3 millimeters. So, you know, you gotta kind of account for that. You know, we're gonna try to compare. So, you know, I mean, depending how you look at it, I mean, it's pretty close. You know, wherever that 20 millimeter mark is, you know, there's a few millimeters outside where the tire is. So, you know, you kind of get the same idea where this is a good example of how you can have different widths and different offsets, but still have the same amount of, you know, the same ending for your fitment. But yeah, so see, currently I'm just gonna go ahead and swap back to the LMGT4s for my car. I'll probably do another fitment video on this. So I hope this offset video kind of gives an idea of how offset affects fitment. Hey, so I want to also show, you know, this website, because I feel like it's pretty valuable for people who kind of want to compare different fitments. So here's an example of the wheels I was doing earlier outside. So my other wheel was a 9.5 plus 12, right? And then I switched over, or vice versa. I had the 10.5 plus 22, and I'm comparing it to the 9.5 plus 12. So, you know, when you put in your information, it tells you like relatively how much further or how much in, and the spacing to the suspension component, to give you an idea like what works and what doesn't. So as you can see, because it is a wider wheel, the 10.5 plus 22 does move 22.7 millimeter closer to the suspension. But as I mentioned, the fitment at the fender is pretty much the same, right? It's only a difference of 2.7, which is, you know, less than 3 millimeter difference that, you know, the eye can't really see. So, you know, if you don't want to like go through and calculate it yourself, going here to willtheyfit.com is pretty much like the easiest thing to do, to kind of compare, you know, different setups. So I hope this kind of this tool will be more useful for people who are trying to find, like, you know, that perfect fitment. All right, thanks guys.